Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's Boys from the Baltic Star. Sorry if you weren't privy to Ewan's filthy thoughts just then. But welcome, and thank you so much. If it's your first time, please don't be alarmed. This is what it's meant to look like, and this is how we're meant to be. If you've been here before, you know what to expect. And you still come back, you fools. But we thank you for it. We are the Boys from the Baltic Star, and we stream multiple times a week. And on Fridays and Saturdays, we role play. And on Fridays, if we're all here, we play Traveller. I've been doing it online for a couple of years now, and we've been loving every minute, whether you do or not, because it's all about us, really. If you don't already, consider following us on Twitter at BoysBaltic, all one word. Give us a like here if you watch for a bit and you like what you see. Not so much the three random blokes on the right-hand side, but maybe the rest of what's happening you might like. If it is your first time, you're very, very, very welcome. Please feel free to, if it's your 20th time, you're very welcome. But especially for you first guys that might not know, please feel free to chat or lurk, whichever feels best for you. We love chatters, we love lurkers. There's a little red sun there you can click to spend some points. There's lots of things you can spend points on. It's a bit overwhelming at times, I admit. But generally, if something has that sort of dark pink colour, you'll make a noise come up. Some things will make myself or my two colleagues have to do something. There's some other things that will allow you to sort of interact with the game. So give a boon, which is helpful, or name an NPC, which is always a lot of fun and ends up with us having strange Pope characters in the game. In fact, just have a mooch around, see what you like. Some just for being happy. Some ping up pictures, just click around and see. But we always keep one thing as one single credit, and that's the most important thing. If we're chatting with something you agree with, or you want to be part of a toast or something but don't have the credits or don't want to spend the credits, a 1 credit, I'll drink to that, should suffice. We like it for you guys to keep it real, because without you we are nothing. We'll run for, I don't know, 2.5, 3 hours or something tonight. We'll see how it goes, I guess. I don't think anyone's got to be up particularly early tomorrow, do we?
Not especially.
Not especially. Oh, Ewan's always like it though. Ewan runs on 3 hours of sleep and coffee. I say runs, slowly falls apart on 3 hours of sleep and coffee.
Yeah.
He's only
functions.
He's only 18, you know. Oh, thanks. Critfell's redeemed one already, so I'll have to go into that at some point. Oh, this is a good one actually. It's a very, very good one. I might give me a bit, but I'll try and tie it in. This feels like one to do. I'll introduce us, and then are you all right if I do it before we start, Ben?
Sure.
It's not an episode one as such. For those listening, it's a minute of wisdom, which Critfail always uses, where one of us has to talk for a minute on a topic, which we're going to. But anyway, before we get there, let's introduce who we are and what's happening tonight. So Traveller is a science fiction role-playing game, which is very, 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 very old. And we're playing, it's older than me, it's older than Ewan. And you'll notice the one person I missed out when I said that.
Yeah.
The tactical thing would be not to bring it up, Luke.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not very tactful or tactical. Neither of those things. And you're right, Crit. It does appear to be me. But yes, that's what we play, and the three of us are the people that play it. So let's go through who we are. So first up in the bottom corner, it is me. It's Luke. Hello, it's your boy Luke in one of our available in all good online shops, or one online shop, and it's not particularly good. Now, my Bast t-shirt says Bast there. Bast. It's not really back to front. It's just because you know what cameras are like.
No, it's not back to front for us. Only for you.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's nice. Available now. Same for the viewers as well, unfortunately. Available now in our store.
Yeah.
Because it's after the great man, which you'll learn about. If you're still here at break, we toast the great man, so you'll learn a bit more about him probably. But yes, so I'm Luke, and I play two characters in this. I play someone called Kara and someone called Soraya. Now, Kara is the artist. She's the philosopher. We always find excuses to make philosophy rolls. Well, I try to. She's the chatter. She's the trader. She's the gambler, the schmoozer. But she's also made of glass. There she is with the strength of floor. So when action happens, I just hide her like a coward, carrying usually behind Ewan's characters. My other character is Soraya, who is a jack of all trades. She's a scout. She's not very good with people because she spent like 12 years on her own, basically. But she loves her sport, and she's a nice, loving person at the end of the day, with all those sort of piloty skills. Two above me, with our big bro loving, broken by our evil referee, is my brother from another mother. He is the housewife's favourite. Yet again, the poll on Twitter this week was even bigger than it was before, with 97% of housewives voting for him. And the vote amongst house husbands is going up as well, Ewan. You're getting quite a cross section here.
Nice.
There is the wonderful Ewan. Good evening, Ewan. How are you?
Hey, Luke, I'm good, thanks. Although I am once again feeling like the two naughty school kids separated by Ben, so we don't cause too much mischief. After I'm feeling, what was it? I forget the exact wording.
Mischievous.
Mischievous, yeah, that'll be the
Mischievous.
one. Let's cause some trouble message.
Yeah. Of course. It's because I'm on edge because of a certain character that's ended back in play, and I start freaking out at that point. So I'm trying to cover it with bravado. I don't know about you, Ewan. How are you feeling about that situation?
I feel exactly the same. We should overcompensate.
Good man.
And just cause mayhem.
Excellent. I'm glad we're on the same page.
That'll teach Ben to drop in an NPC who we get a bit nervy around.
We're just going to burn it to the ground. Burn it all. But maybe that's what he wanted all along.
Maybe that's what Vess wants all along.
That's exactly the fear. But anyway, we know that Kara and Soraya are going to burn it to the ground, but who from your side of things is going to help with this?
So I play Stefan, who is a space rogue with a reasonable selection of combat skills, which he very rarely uses because he mostly sticks to energy weapons. So he's quite excited to try out the flamethrower at some point. Maybe not tonight.
How long has he had that for?
Well, in game, probably a couple of weeks, but but in real life, it feels like, I don't know, 8 months. And also, I'm very excited because he has flying wing, only a 0. But I figure if there's ornithopters around, you need somebody who can fly things with wings.
You're absolutely right.
Yes.
So who knows?
It's a fair point.
Who knows?
Get drunk, steal an
and I
ornithopter.
also, yeah, exactly.
Yes.
With a flamethrower.
What could go wrong?
And I can see Ben sinking into his seat as we speak. We do play somewhat seriously sometimes. And I also play Agnar, who is a former military general with a bit of military tactics and some medic, and General Floofy Wolfman Varga of the group.
Oh, he's the hot floofy boy. Lovely. Speaking of hot floofy boys, he is the smartest. He is the smartest man in any room. He lives his entire life in the Twin Peaks dream sequence, and when he's not streaming of an evening, he heads out of his house and he breaks into the house of women all around the country, leaving chocolatey deposits by their bed.
And all because the lady loves milk tray.
He is our favourite referee of all.
Was that a pause for laughter in your?
No, it was a pause. It was a pause for the. It was a pause for the music. It was a pause for the theme. You don't get to hear it, do you? I just think I click it, and there's like a really awkward, like 2-second pause before it kicks in. So that is a bit like, oh, I'm dying here. But anyway, it is our beloved Ben. Good evening, Ben. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Yeah, not too bad. And don't worry, dead air is very on brand for us.
That's very, very true. That is good. How's your week been? Not too tiring, I hope.
Not too exhausting, no. no. A mixed week, I think it's fair to say, but not too bad.
Good. That's what I like to hear at this time. Normally, right now, we would pass straight to you to give the intro, but I've promised Crit that I would complete his challenge. Ben, if that is okay.
Yeah. Well, if you can surface the
There we
stuff
go. Done it.
behind, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense,
We're on it
then
now.
we're good to go when you're ready.
Fantastic. So for those watching the first time, I think so. Thanks, Crit. I really appreciate it. I did take time over it. I liked the graphics being a little bit smaller and the characters rotating without me having to click it every time. But yes, anyway, for those listening for the first time, I have no idea what's going on. Us neither. One of the options is that someone can make us talk for 60 seconds on something. Nothing will ever be as good as Ewan having to talk on 60 seconds about the roads in Faversham, which is still the highlight of all.
That was
Especially when I'm
impressive.
so bad with road names.
She spent 45 seconds just talking about the introduction to it. It's your way. It's the classic Ewan approach.
Yeah, had it all out with the introduction.
Exactly. Oh, he's frozen in excitement. Anyway, so I'll read the thing and then it's how did dumb characters in horror games. So this is a bit. It's sort of a lot about our channel. If you don't know, we're having a convention, and we play a horror game. We stream a horror game, and I'm scared of squirrels in it. So it all ties together.
Not
How-
only squirrels, lots of things,
I'm
but
scared.
among them is squirrels.
Exactly. One of them, many things. So how did dumb characters in horror games and the evil incarnations of squirrels lead to the galactic working class doing a convention? I haven't given it any thought at all. Okay. So, dear friends, as we sit here before the thread begins, I was doing a lot of thinking recently about the galactic working class and about how they're pushed down and shunned by those above them, of course. But one thing that really empowers them is conventions. It's a chance for their like-mindedness to come together, form sort of a union of people that could rise up maybe against those above them that sort of pushing them down. Now, it's really important to have a reason for a convention. And one of the things that the galactic working class have in common is an innate fear of squirrels. It's because a lot of them aren't used to the countryside so much. And they're just freaky little rats with bushy tails. And when it's dark and there's no lights around and you're feeling a bit stupid and it's a bit scary out there, it's quite easy to mistake a squirrel for a deranged serial killer. They're pretty much the same thing. And so that sort of having that thing in common, that ridiculous fear of squirrels, means that the working class, the galactic working class, can come together and build a convention based around that fear, which will strengthen them and build them up to take on the ruling classes. For if you don't fear squirrels, you don't fear anything. Oh, thank you.
Very good.
Well done.
Can I just chime in to say that our convention isn't based around fear?
And so
Whilst
far,
we're on the
there are
subject.
no squirrel-related events that we've actually included.
No, not yet.
Well,
Maybe I'll reface You Are 100 Goblins to be You Are 100 Squirrels.
You are 100 squirrels.
don't you dare. Do not dare.
Just for Luke.
That sounds really good to me. You are 100 squirrels. Yes.
With props.
Just a reskin.
Everyone gets 100
Goblins.
little squirrel toys that I have to get rid of as you go along. Oh, no. Wow, what a terrifying thought. Okay, anyway, now that's all done. Because I have let Critford down a couple of times over the last few weeks with him leaving before we could do it. Ben, sorry, over to you for the main meat of the evening.
Okay. So let's do a quick catch up. Our travellers have arrived back at the ocean-covered world of Giikur. Returning to the city of Selville, they quickly went to the Trail's End, a theme bar they'd visited before. Here, visitors who live in the less exciting parts of the galaxy can enjoy refreshments in a place that seems to be a cheap tavern frequented by rough and ready spacers and people who live life on the edge. Accordingly, here there are carefully staged and choreographed fights every hour, on the hour, and the serving staff wear grubby overalls, battered sidearms, and vintage electronics. Before settling into this popular restaurant, they'd done a bit of research into the best way to see and enjoy the Pelago race. In addition to the dirigibles they already knew about, there's an outside area at the Cascade that offers a luxury vantage point. Of course, the whole race and its support races will also be televised. Soraya naturally purchased a tablet that acted as a full program for the racing and the teams, and scrolled through the list, mostly to select one that might be worthy of her full-throated support. In one of the hollows, showing the VCI team working on their craft, she spotted a familiar face. Anton Fess. And that is where we resume the story.
Sarah would definitely feel a shiver up her spine as she sort of, her finger shakily points out the figure to Stefan and say, I think I've picked a team we're not going to back. What on earth is he doing there?
What team's that?
That's the Von Cotswold Inc.
I was coming round to the Von Cotswold Inc.
The yellow and black, the bees. Yeah, the killer bees. Oh, man.
Well, we know a few. We know, a few Von Cotswolds.
We
I
do.
figured if that doesn't earn our support, then putting up with us, then what does?
That is true, but a one Fess outweighs 1,000 Von Cotswolds.
That is also true.
I think that's the old children's nursery rhyme, isn't it? Something like that.
We should get that printed on t-shirts.
It's true. Oh,
Not to wear around Fess, obviously.
no.
Ben, quick question. What does Fess look like? Are we talking racer here? Are we talking pit crew equivalent? Are we talking suit? Are we talking... If Stefan wanted to gauge what capacity they were there with the team in?
Not in what you'd call a working uniform, not in like pit crew coveralls or anything like that, but definitely branded jacket.
Okay, so definitely part of the entourage, but okay.
Yeah, some relation to the team, but not a mechanic or anything where they apply a full uniform.
What do you think, Sarah? Sponsor?
It's possible. The thing is, what we know about him, we already know that he's known as by two different names anyway, doesn't he? Zoe. They're sort of keeping their voice down a bit so that Zoe and all that can't overhear them at this point, Ben. I think it's probably for the best. And she were like Zoe knows him as sort of the murderer of 1,000 children, pretty much. The guy who heads up the secret police, one of the secret police guys, isn't he? But then, of course, the Commodore knew him as like the king of rocks and fish. It wouldn't surprise me that this is yet another thing. He seems to have his fingers in many pies and his claws in people. It might be worth seeing if Kara can look into it a bit or something when we, see if she can dig up any information. But just definitely put me off the Pelago racing a bit, If we know he's going to be around, if he really is something to do with VCI, he could be right here on the planet right now. Which I guess isn't a surprise. We left him on the planet, didn't we? But still, I kind of forgot about him.
I'd assumed he'd have moved on to other pies by now. I think you're right. I think he probably has multiple identities.
If you're used to working in intelligence, and of course if he also has the
You're saying I'm not used to working in intelligence. Was that like a backhanded compliment? No, it's not even a compliment.
Not even a compliment.
You're saying I'm dumb.
No, you're all right. You know, you're not the man you once were mentally, but you're making up for it with your hairiness. But
Wait, who's talking?
this is the problem when we create characters that are too close to ourselves.
Mhm.
So Raya has lost the train of thought.
Sorry. Steph, I would say though, I think you're right. I think it could be looked up, especially if they're a major player in the team. There'll be a blurb somewhere, right, on a website or a.
Yeah, she'll be able to poke around, go through some. Look for there's probably more pictures around. There'll be the company, the team site, some news stuff. I'm sure she can bang it on that computer of hers and come up with some stuff pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Oh. But anyway, with that team down, well, I'll tell her to do that in a second if she's happy to. But with that team down, you got your eyes on any others now. Like, I'm not feeling the joy as much as I was just 5 minutes ago.
No. I don't know. I quite like the look of either is it Core?
Oh yeah,
Curtain transport.
Core Imp. Imp.
Imp. Well, Imp did
Impact
complete.
systems.
They did complete the shortest route last time, of course. You got to like a bit of bravery. Like, I quite like the shortest attempt. I like the did not finish guys, but it's black. They're the Imperial Service Bureau. They sound like a bunch of narcs. I don't like them. I don't like them at all. They don't sound very rock and roll.
It's the word bureau, right? Because Imperial Service, you could get away with being.
We've got our Imperial Navy mum, haven't we? So we're not against that as such. It's totally bureau.
But if we called ourselves the Baltic Star Bureau, people would get the same vibe from us. I feel.
That's why
sounds a little bit shady.
That's why we went for Baltic Star Inc. Everyone likes an incorporated. It makes you sound professional, but without being a narc. I don't know, man.
But yeah, I agree. I'd be quite interested in what their deal is, but I'm not a big fan of supporting them. I don't think.
I can't support Team Maglo because they're the defending champs, and and losers support the defending champs.
Absolutely, yeah, ridiculous.
I mean, that's kind of the opposite, but sure.
Like when I was doing my when I was flying around all those years, Stefan, there'd be times when I tuned into old sports from back on Terra back in the days. There's this football team called Bournemouth, and they were always also rans. But I think I think I'm going to support the Bournemouth of the Pelago racing world.
Who is that? Who is the Bournemouth of the Pelago world? I mean, I've never heard of them.
I don't know. I might just go for the Giikur Export Consortium. We love the geeks, and we do export stuff. We have got a lot of fish on board. We're pretty much like the Giikur Export Consortium.
Yeah, I mean, all that fish came from Giikur, right? So
yeah. And there's green in their colour, and half of my clothes are green now because of Giikur. The geeks. So I'm halfway there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You look like a geek.
Yeah, so do you. Well, that's my decision anyway, and you know how important it is for me to have a team to cheer for.
Yeah. Yeah. How have Giikur been doing? Are they playing the last week? Not obviously on the ship, but they must have been playing somewhere. So they have a week
no, they didn't have a match last week. Their next one will be this coming week.
Oh,
so you're going to be watching the buckyball and the race as well.
Well, what I'm hoping for is that a couple of days here, what we booked, a couple of nights here, get up to the Baltic Star. I can lock myself away in my room, like the good old days of as a scout. Just surround myself with beer and watch the sport while the rest of you do all the important stuff. Old school,
Yeah, I mean, I think all the important stuff's been done. I can't remember whether I mentioned last week. Quan's working on some soup or something. He's testing the soup.
The soup, nice.
Yeah, soup test. So he's got some food on the go for us, I guess.
That is very good. Rose will be pleased. I think she was getting a bit fed up of having to do all the cooking since Grey Hill sadly passed. This is good news. It's nice to have some positive news. I felt down a few minutes ago, but knowing that I've got a team to cheer for now, that we've got soup when we get back to the Baltic Star, that there's Buckyball coming again. I'm living life now. Feeling much perkier.
Who have Giikur got? Next week.
Oh, I don't know.
This week.
I'll have to check my device. She reaches over and press a device which says
Their next match is against Osin.
Osin. That'll be interesting to see, considering they've got a whole new leadership there.
Hey, we've been there.
Yeah, we're the reason why there's a whole new leadership there. Oh, you know what? I wonder if you know that girl that you fancied?
No, I don't know who. What?
Was it you? You know the secretary. You had the hots for the secretary. That was you, wasn't it? You got Cara to draw her a picture or something before you left.
No, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
We went out for a drink so I could get some information about the about our target. Sil Salva.
Sil Salva, you were smitten. Don't pretend. She might be back. She might be around. We'll keep our eyes out, man. It'll be very exciting.
She never mentioned Buckyball.
We never asked.
You never know. That's true.
It never came up in the middle of a government coup.
Yeah, your coup d'état didn't leave a lot of space for discussions about sports.
I was going to, but then Cara just laid everything on the table, and there was just no time for anything after that.
Yeah, things did accelerate at that point.
Indeed.
Oh, anyway,
maybe.
Yeah, it's good. Everyone's starting to look at us a bit awkwardly, Stefan. I suppose we better rejoin the group in a second. Have you got a team though? Come on, I need a good rivalry with you.
Yeah, Imp.
The Imps.
Impact Systems.
Black and silver, very nice.
I'm assuming it's like an ironic name, and the impact has nothing to do with their piloting skills. But hey, we'll see, right?
Yeah. And they do hold the record for the shortest route that actually completed. Yeah.
So I mean, you're going to simp for Imp now, are you?
Oh, very good.
Oh, that's good. That should be a T-shirt as well.
I simp for Imp. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we could sell them. We could
hawk our wares like a little street corner booth.
Yeah.
Let's do it. If we get a chance, if we get on a shopping trip today or tomorrow, let's get some T-shirts printed up in a suitcase, and we'll hawk some wares.
See what we can do.
Yeah, good man. I'm sure we'll have plenty of time. Nothing's going to happen. Sarai turns around to the rest of the group and says, "We weren't keeping you waiting, were we, Zoe? Sorry about that. We were just discussing Buckyball. There's a game coming next week. Cool.
Yeah. Usually.
Yeah, it's good like that, isn't it? The season never ends.
Yeah, not really a seasonal sport since it's played in zero gravity.
Zero gravity, the best invention of all time for sport, I say.
Yeah.
And then she'll sort of lean over. Cara, could you come over here a second, please? And she'll sort of get Cara to walk over. I think Cara would have been hanging with sort of the usual, like Rose and Kat, sort of chilling. And she'll come over. And so I'll say, "Look, come over here quietly." And she'll say, "Hey, look at this. You recognise this, don't you?" And Cara's like, yeah. shocked, because Kara was the one that really was quite shocked at the time. She had the bug planted on her, I think. She was quite.
I think it was Gara, yeah.
Because he leant in and gave her a big hug when she wasn't expecting it and things. So it's quite sort of. And Sarah was like, "Look, can you, when we get a chance, could you set up your computer to check for anything about Anton Fess or hang on a sec. I'll load up the encyclopedia. But do you remember what his other name was? What else his name is?
Mattis Fess.
Mattis Fess. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah, or Mattis Fess. And Carbon. Yeah, I'll do that. So if Ben, when there's a chance, she would like to set up a big search on her, start it scrolling through the team website, then into like the league website, and then into any sponsors connected with the, just run a big run.
She wants to set the agent running and then leave it, basically.
Yeah, leave it be. Yeah, if that's okay.
Okay, well then you can make the roll now.
Cool.
It'll only take her a few seconds to set it going.
Perfect, thank you.
Then can Stefan just chime in and just say, just keep an eye out for other fesses as well, That appears to be the common denominator in both the names.
Yes, good call. Very good call. Okay, what am I rolling, Ben?
All right, you are rolling electronics computing.
Mm-hmm.
With your intellect in this case, and you can obviously have the bonus for your device.
Bonus, yeah. I haven't warmed the dice though.
The super duper computer.
The super duper computer. Tech level 14 computer. Better not break. Most places can't fix it.
True.
Okay. It's an 8 plus a 4 is a 12.
Okay. All right. Can you roll 1d6 for me, please?
I can. Which is Timothy, or he messaged again this week laughing at the fact with my 1d6 rolls, which I hate. It's a 4.
4. Okay.
Yeah.
The suggestion is you'll get a report, given you're doing public-facing things mostly.
Yeah.
In about 40 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Can I just say my favourite thing about your 1d6 roll is that you say you don't know whether it's good to be high or good to be low. Like, if you knew, then you definitely
I could make it in with
needed. Yeah.
Well, you know what these dice are like. I like
that's how dice work.
Yeah, exactly. I can put positive vibes in it, but now I'm just going. Come on,
That's
3.
true.
Come on, 3. Come on, 4. Don't hit me with a really bad roll. Just something I can deal with the middle.
Yeah.
No, you played this game long enough to know what the 1d6s are about.
If it's that 6 is the higher the number, the longer the time. But there are some d6 rolls where we want lower and want higher. Sorry.
Yeah, that's partly my fault. When you encounter something which isn't really expressly covered by the rules, sometimes I make up my own determination as to its likelihood and then randomly pick which way round it is.
Nice. To keep us on edge.
Well, yeah, it's just whatever strikes me at the time as being most sensible, because some things logically make sense to be higher and some logically it makes sense to be lower.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
But yeah, so sometimes it isn't as obvious as this one is. Right. So, who's next? Who else is doing something?
I think Agnar's okay. Brunching.
Mm-hmm.
Where we left off.
We wandered into the street, wasn't it, Ben? We were walking. Did we come out the place? Yeah. So we'd done the trails there and we came out, found the jukebox was fake. It's a fake.
Yeah. Fake jukebox.
Yeah, and we were catching. What sort of time of day is it? Or is it sort of around that sort of lunchtime time, Ben? Or?
Yeah, it's early afternoon.
Oh, okay. Oh.
And correct me, our possessions were being taken to the
To the hotel.
weren't they?
Yeah.
But we
Yes.
haven't yet checked in.
You haven't, though you do have your reservation.
I have a lot of reservations right now.
You rolled extremely well to secure a reservation at the time of the Pelago. That was good.
Yes, the Coronet. We love the Coronet. It's a lovely
We do
hotel.
love the Coronet.
Oh, what we're doing then, Daddy Agnar? Looks like we've got the world at our fingertips, and an afternoon in the sun.
Agnar will look around. Well, I think we should at least head towards the in the general direction of the Coronet. You know, if I heard rumours, mutters around that people wanted a night out on the town. If that's the case, you know how long Stefan takes to get ready. You still need to check in and unpack, and I could probably do with a little afternoon nap. I am older than the rest of you, as you know.
That's true fact. It feels like you've been 42 for a very long time, Agnar.
Well, not that long, just as long as, in fact, less than most other people are 42. Well, no, less than anybody older than 42 has been 42, but longer than anyone younger than 42 has been 42.
You're so
I
wise.
would say.
You're so educated and wise.
Plus, I believe last time we were at the at said establishment, somebody convinced them that it was my birthday.
Yes, the fruit.
I believe there was fruit delivered. And,
I wonder if that person might try that again.
I dined off that fruit basket for days, literally.
I saw it at the end. It was going a bit gross by the end of the week.
It started to ferment somewhat.
It explains some of your outbursts and behaviour when we got kicked off Earth Park.
Oh, I told you not to mention that place. Let's move. Keep moving, people. And he'll just walk through. Are we sort of in the middle of a shopping area? I forget where.
You're very
this is
close to the
precisely
exact
located.
centre of Lata, which is the district you're in.
Mm-hmm.
The peak you're in. You're very close to the middle. The Coronet is to the west, sort of halfway up the shore of Lake Simel on that side. The Cascade, if you remember, is right on the top left corner of Lata, literally overlooking the fall down to the edge of the island. So you're walking through definitely a commercial district. It's some of the slightly smarter, slightly more upmarket stuff. Mostly smaller shops, not big industrial complexes. And it is filled with everything from craft materials to bookshops and creative industries and bars and restaurants, all sorts of little cultural stuff.
He'll go to walk off and then realise that he's not entirely sure where he is and turn around and say, has anybody got anywhere they want to visit on our way to check in? Anyone got any shopping to do? Anything they want to procure?
Cara will smile, remembering back to the conversation you had with Sharp on the seamstress. And she'll say, you know what? There is something I want to get you, Agnar. If you would be so kind as to allow me. And she goes to her device, which I'm assuming you can just search the area for shops, I guess. Can I see if there's certain things around as we're in a peak shopping district? I'd like to find where I could get those miniatures called, his war game miniature things.
Zixus.
Yes,
the Zix board game.
Yes, how are you spelling that, please? So you can get
Z, Y, X, A.
Yes, she wants to look to see if she can get like an army or a special piece for it or something.
Okay.
She's excited that he's shown interest. She's never known that him. She's known him for years, but never known that he's been into it. So she's quite excited. So, this is exciting.
All right. There are places that seem to handle games, entertainment. There are the kind of games you'd expect. So, for example, hard-bitten spacers who fly fighter craft covered in lasers and battle the alien menace on the edge of the galaxy. Often like to, of an evening, sit around a table and roll some dice and pretend to be people struggling through their everyday lives in small town England in the very early 21st century. Because, you know, that's a completely novel experience for them, and it's very exciting for them to do that.
I must say, it's completely unbelievable, Ben. What kind of person would spend their time doing that? And having such fun as well.
Yeah, so there are games like that. There are board games. There are obviously commercial and plenty of amateur style video games. Most of those aren't delivered box. They're distributed electronically. But there's always a market for some special edition or custom edition or merchandise associated with it. You know, you can still buy a mug with your favorite video game character on it, if you see what I mean. And there are shops that do this kind of thing. There are also more general gift shops which might handle local crafts, and there are high-end places where they custom make things of very high quality. So, you know, take your pick. What are you after? A sort of specialist game place, a high-end craft place, or a more sort of general purpose gift place?
I'll go for a specialist game place, please.
Okay, fair enough. Can you roll 1d6 for me?
I can. There's a 3. Yes.
Okay. For whatever reason, nothing catches your eye in the first street you wander down, but as you sort of head closer and closer towards the lake, you find more and more smaller shops, and particularly little boutique type places that serve the quite wealthy crowd who use the hotels or have beach houses on the lakefront itself. And you do start to see places that look a bit more promising. And as you are heading in that direction, you actually pass a place which you don't sort of immediately notice. It's not the flashiest of places, not the most obvious place to visit, but you do find yourself blundering into someone coming out of a little shop tucked away to one side, and you see what they're carrying. And what they're carrying is some game materials. And obviously you think, oh, that's interesting, and look up. There is, conveniently enough, a shop there literally called Selville Games.
She sort of grabs Agnar by the elbow excitedly, says, Look, Selville Games. Selville Games. Let's go in. Come on.
Yes,
looks suitably nerdy. Yes.
And he noticeably has a bit of a spring in his step, and like he's 20 years younger. As he walks into the game shop with his close friend.
Okay. Inside, there are a variety of things, some very weird and unusual things you've never seen before, some much more common. There are toys suitable for children. There are family style physical games that people still enjoy, actually physically handling the pieces and moving them around. It's towards the back that you see what you might call more traditional games, and that's where where your eyes are attracted to, because you're looking for something that's played by the more discerning, strategic, tactical kind of crowd.
Wow, and Agnar plays it.
And also Agnar, yes.
She'll pull Agnar towards the corner and say, "Look, this looks promising. Is there anything? Does this look like your game, Zelcia or whatever it's called? Is there like they'll look pretty close to me, but to be fair, I could plop anything down and make a game out of it. You know, like this rubber dinosaur over here, I could like fight it against a robot. But I know the discerning crowd like yourself."
Listen, you can't just go straight back to the good stuff. You've got to at least pretend to look around, you know, the trendy young person stuff at the front before you make your way to what you're actually looking for, which is the more refined games. Yes, you are right. This section here is precisely what I've been
I'm a
looking for.
trendy young. I'm a trendy young person. I don't need to pretend to be one. I can come straight here because people just accept my trendiness.
I suppose I am with you as well.
You are. You're cool. You're cool by association.
By proxy, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go on.
Okay, yeah, sure. And he starts looking through all the different things on the shelves quite excitedly.
All right. There are a variety of things. It won't surprise you to learn that a lot of classic games, things like chess, are still played. In the far future, they haven't gone away. They're not as popular perhaps as they used to be, but they still exist. And a variety of games played by Varga, by Aslan, and by other species that have caught on. They have a variety of what you might call generic sets for Azixa. The starter set usually comes with the pieces for a game variant called the Coalition Wars, and they seem to have a lot of those, you know, boxed and ready to go. A variety of different styles. Some are quite lavish in their scale, quite substantial. Others are very clearly made, slimline and flat pack to fit into, you know, hand luggage and things of that nature.
That's the same set that we played with Sharp with, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is the most traditional form, and it is the most widely played among the purists, shall we say. But there are dozens, in fact hundreds of variants that use the same rules but different pieces, basically. They're the same style of pieces in the sense that the rules still apply to them, but you get different points for each piece on the board. So it would be as if you could buy a chess set where you had 4 bishops but no knights, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. I'll turn to Carl and just, look at it all. It's amazing. And this one, even look at how small it is. You could put it in your pocket.
I
Take
like
it anywhere.
I like the look of that one because that box is pretty cool looking. It's quite bright and colourful. They look good on your table.
That is a definite showpiece. You know, for a room, for a coffee table, it's a coffee table game. It'll get people talking about it, and you know, it draws you in, doesn't it?
It is. What do you fancy? What set do you fancy, Agnar? Take your pick. Go on.
If I get the colourful set, will you play it with me when we hit our first jump on the Baltic Star?
I promise to try, and I promise to try to look interested.
I mean, you can drink as well if that helps.
Then yes.
You know, it can be downtime.
I like the sound of downtime. Yep, I'll play it with you.
I'm gonna get it. I'll get that one.
All right. So you get your set off the shelf. It is a classic variant. It comes with enough pieces to play either the 2 or 3-handed version.
Oh.
It doesn't come with a board.
Oh no. Cara goes barging straight to the person at the counter, um, with the box so far, and she'll say, "Is it a man or a lady?"
It's a man.
Uh, Good evening, my good sir, trader of these fine wares. How are you this afternoon?
Very well, thank you. Welcome to Selville Games.
Thank you, thank you. So, I'm here with my dad, and my dad. She points towards Agnar, and he's been nagging me for years and years and years to give this game a go with him. And I finally relented. You know, it's his 50th birthday, and I was like, let's just cheer up the old man. So we're getting this set as a treat for me, um, and we're looking for a really lovely board to play it on that sort of can be left on the table, you know, between games, looking nice.
Yes.
We've got a ship that's got a nice area. We can leave it up. We just want people to come and like admire it. What would you recommend?
For boards, there are a number of different ways that people go. He pulls out a very small electronic black box from a shelf behind him. He says some people prefer one of these. He puts it down on the counter and turns it on, and it just projects the board literally over the surface. He says if you're traveling, this kind of thing is very, very sensible. It's light, it's portable, and you can set it up and take it down instantly. It's also smart enough that it can remember the computer in it can remember the positions of the pieces. So you can, when you put your pieces down in place, it knows where they are, and when you turn it back on again after taking a break, it will tell you where they all were, so you can re-establish the board exactly as it was. However, it doesn't have that that sense of the board being set up and in place with all the pieces on it that I think you say you're looking for.
Yeah.
Well, my recommendation would be if you think it's a thing you might enjoy playing, your best bet would be to go for a tournament-sized board. Now, tournament-sized board has a few benefits. For one thing, it will fit any standard set of pieces. You can get smaller ones that people use, but you kind of have to use the pieces that come with that because standard size pieces won't fit. So players who want to be able to challenge other people usually get a tournament board, because that way they can bring their own pieces for their side and somebody else can bring pieces for their side, and everyone can play with their own set that they're comfortable with. And because it's a tournament-sized board, everybody's pieces will fit.
No, that would be perfect. Small would be difficult anyway. My father's he has trouble with his fingers after spending 30 years working in the fish farms. So so
I
he
can
needs
imagine.
so you know it's like early arthritis or something. So to have these big pieces would be perfect. Yes, please. I'd love this classic variant with including 3-player, the tournament size board. How much will that set me back?
Well, it depends on what kind of board you like. We have a fold-out metal board, very
Oh,
smart.
mm,
He pulls it out and lays it down in front of you. Very smart, heavy, solid, so it doesn't get knocked easily and jostled easily. I think a lot of people prefer that.
mm.
And it folds down into a relatively compact, somewhat chunkier box. I think a lot of people appreciate that. We can do that in a variety of different metals. I think the best looking is the uh, distressed steel, but lots of people like an aluminium one, lose some of the weight. A titanium one, very expensive. I don't really see the benefit, but some people prefer a different color. So we do ones in a variety of brasses and bronzes as well.
Oh, do you have any bright colours on that at all?
Not really. They're pretty much basic metallics.
Okay.
We do an equivalent type of folding board in plastic, which we do in a huge range of colors.
Oh no, let's stick with the distressed steel. I'll just go for a standard steel colour, nice and distressed. He's a strong man. It's all those years with the fish, although his hands are knackered. He's beef. Look at him. He's a strong man. He won't have a problem
Well,
carrying
there
this
is
around.
one other thing I can show you,
Wow.
which is
I've learned to refuse those requests over the years.
we're lucky on Giikur that we have access to real wood. And
What?
there are forests on the islands here. Actual wood, not that common, but around here we have real wood, and some of the local craftspeople they create wooden boards.
That does
And
sound.
he reaches down and pulls out this immaculate-looking, full-size, quite thick board with all of the individual spaces marked out in different coloured wood panels.
Lovely.
And he sort of pushes that across. He says, now these, of course, these are expensive. These are for the discerning collector or someone who really likes the feel of actual wood. This is not wood pulp reconstituted. This is not recycled woodite. This is actually pieces of tree.
And it sounds lovely, but of course I have to ask, how much would that set me back?
For a wood board like this, of this kind of quality, and remember, everyone is completely unique because wood is a living thing. Every single board is just slightly different.
Of course.
I'm afraid they come in at about 10,000.
10,000. How much is the set as well? If I was to buy them together, what would it come to?
Well, since the standard set of pieces that you have there is 50, I think it's quite reasonable to say if you bought the wooden board,
yeah,
I would quite happily throw in a set of pieces.
You're very, very kind. Oh, I would do that as a special treat for my dear father.
Okay.
The only person money's an object for is Cara, because she's been too generous in the past. She gave all her money away to some homeless girl. So she's that would be absolutely delightful. And Cara pings the 10,000 over to him, and immediately once that is done, she will grab. I don't think I've got. She wants to carve in front of the guy. She wants to carve "Love Cara" on the edge of the board to make it extra unique, but upset everyone as she does it.
Okay, so what have you got that you want to do the carving
That's what I'm trying to work out. You see, I might have to buy a knife. Hang on. I have a knife.
It's getting more and more expensive.
I need a knife for my shenanigans.
I just buy one.
I need to buy a knife so I can deface this thing I bought.
I think I've got a knife. I'm sure it was written down somewhere. I might be confusing everything.
It's right.
I got a hole punch circle. What's that all about? A stun grenade, that won't help. A garrote, that won't help.
The hole punch circle is the size of your bugging device.
Oh yes. That's the size of the bug. Got a camera.
That went in the Pope.
I got my.
The bug belongs in the Pope.
Oh yeah, I've only got 2 left. No, I've got two left. I've got my EMP. That's not helpful. So Agnar, do you have a blade on you, dear father?
I actually I don't. Do you want something opening? I've got.
Oh, that would be
perfect. Claws.
That would be perfect. Close your eyes and give me your hand.
What?
Trust me.
This is not how you treat a former military general. I'll have you know.
She looks to the service guy and she's like, "I'm sorry, he's losing out. He's losing out there as well. That's what it's hard for him. He was never quite what he wanted to be. But I think working with the fish he saw a spirit. I'd never wanted for anything. He was an honourable man. Come on, give me a hand.
What?
Come on.
Yeah, we've got tons of fish.
Yes,
what are you talking about fish for?
Yeah, we've got
loads of fish.
We have got loads of fish, haven't we? Yeah. Go. Close your eyes. Give me a claw.
He'll close his eyes and hold out a hand.
And then
There's quite the as he's got his eyes closed. That's quite the spectacular looking board. Tell me, is that the natural grown wood, or is that the the farmed stuff?
It's all farmed in the strictest sense because it's all planted, but it's just planted and then left alone. It grows naturally.
Beautiful, he says with his eyes closed.
as he starts conversing with it, Kara will start scraping into the side. Love, Kara, using the claw. If that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
What's that sound?
Don't worry about it. You'll like it. You'll like it. It's an extra special gift. And then when she finishes, she stands back to admire her handiwork, which isn't quite as neat as she'd hoped because, of course, she's using a man's arm that's attached to someone as a pen.
Both our handiwork.
That's it. Look, we did this together. Look, it's even more special now. Ta-da! Ta-da! Ta-da!
You know we're going to have to buy that now.
I've already bought it. It's yours. It's your special board. And all the pieces.
Mine?
Yeah, we can set it up on the ship. We can play 2-player, 3-player. What do you want?
Oh, and he'll just give Kara a big, hairy hug. Thank you.
No, don't thank me. Thank this wonderful gentleman for telling me all about the wood.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Right.
You're welcome. I'm very pleased you like it. Very pleased.
How big are we talking then?
The board is essentially hexagonal in shape. Across the shorter dimension, so flat side to flat side, it's around about 18 inches, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Yeah.
So, you know,
I'm just trying to judge.
this won't make any sense on camera, but you know what I mean. Like that far
Yeah.
across.
About yay big.
Yeah.
About yay big.
About yay big. Come on, you can carry it. Let's get it back to the hotel. You can have your afternoon nap.
Yeah. I'm just, if you've paid presumably good money for all this wood, you should probably pick up those shavings down there. It's quite a substantial, when you look at his claws, substantial amount of wood that you've just left lying around.
Wow. What are we going to do? Sell it to the local wood merchant?
All right, leave it.
Fine. She reaches down and stuffs the detritusy bits into her pockets. If this is to make you feel better that you never gave me any pocket money, it's not working. Come on.
You mean pocket money? I'm not your dad. And he starts walking out the shop.
Okay. All right. You head out with your new purchases. Where next?
Now I'll turn to Kara and say, "Come on, let's get back to the hotel. We can set it up and get some drinks in. Set up the new boards.
Monkey.
Play a couple of games."
Look, I don't think we've got the time today. Right, we're going out later, aren't we? And you need a nap anyway, right? I don't want to rush it. I feel like I'm going to need to learn now. I don't want to ruin the first game together. I feel like it should be.
I feel like I've got a new lease of life. I don't need a nap anymore.
No, look, you won't last the evening. You won't be able to. We're going to party tonight, and you'll moan about. Sorry. Before we go, sorry. Hello, Pirate. Hello, Croy. Hello, Fianchi for the first time.
Hey, Monkey Tails.
Hello, all of you. I hope you're doing well. I tuned in for a bit. I loved your work. Monkey Tails are great. If you're watching and you've never seen them before, They're doing Cthulhu today. Sorry, Cthulhu tomorrow as well, I think. And it is good stuff. They do it really well, and their vibe is very positive vibes, really chilled and nice and good. So go follow them.
Very fun people. Very fun to watch.
Hey, Rob. No, Agnar, look, you always do this. You always say you've got a second lease of life before we go out, and then it hits like midnight, and you're like, oh, I need to go. I'm tired. I need to go home. I need to get my beauty sleep. And I'm being dragged home like 4 hours before I want to go home. So come on, don't have your nap like you plan. I know you're excited because you got a new game, but take that nap. It's for the best for the group, because you will start moaning at midnight. Otherwise, you know you.
You know, this is like, did you ever have, right, so my grandparents, every now and then, around Varga holiday season, which, you know, frankly is every day, they'd take you out and they'd let you choose your gift. But then they'd take you back and you had to wrap it up and you had to wait till the actual day. And it's so exciting.
It is so. That makes it even
Why
more
would
exciting.
you do this to me?
Because I want you to have maximum excitement when you play it. And I want you to get the full effects. Maybe on the Baltic Star. Maybe that's the best place to play it. We'll be there in a couple of days anyway. 3 days max, maybe 4. But it won't be long before we're there. And then we can play it.
Okay.
You can take the piece out and have a look.
I suppose we're going to have a lot of...
And you can play with yourself a bit when you're in the room by
time.
yourself.
There's going to be a lot of jumps on the Baltic Star. We can get a lot of games in.
Exactly.
Okay.
Come on
then.
Let's go back and you can have your little snooze. And I'll get ready.
I think you should lock this board in the hotel safe though.
I'm not doing that.
Look at it, it's beautiful.
Don't embarrass me. Don't embarrass me. I'm not going to lock a board in the safe. You can put it under your bed like anyone else.
Hotel safes are mostly for trousers, aren't they?
Exactly.
Trousers and wood, is it?
Full of trousers. Come on.
I suppose on Giikur it's not so hard to come by, is it?
No, exactly.
Okay. Come on.
Let's go.
Just promise me nothing's going to happen to it, though, before I get, at least one game.
Okay.
Ideally, hundreds, but...
Okay. I promise. Come on. Let's go.
Could point out something actually already happened to it.
Exactly. Makes it extra easier to hunt down. Easier for the police to hunt down if it gets nicked.
Oh, that's true. It's like having a homing beacon on it, except instead of a homing beacon, it's a name carved in wood that can't be traced unless you actually have the thing.
Exactly. Look, do you want me to go and get a bug or something stick to it?
No,
is it that
fine.
I've already spent 10 grand on it? Agnar, I'll spend more if it makes you feel more comfortable.
10?
Yeah.
10,000 imperial credits.
Yeah, worth every penny. It's real wood. Wood.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
It's even more beautiful since I carved my name into it.
Come on, let's get it back.
I know. Your silence was deafening. Come on, you lot. Let's go. Stop meandering around. Soraya, put those bad sunglasses back. They don't suit your face shape. Do I have to be the fashion guru for everyone on this ship?
Classic.
So you gather up your crocodile of people who've meandered off, peering in windows in all directions, of course. Are you heading towards the hotel?
I think that seems the most reasonable thing to do, isn't it, Ian? Because we can dump any other bits and pieces, set up a bit of a base.
Yeah. It's definitely Agnar's plan now.
Can all of you roll a streetwise? With intellect.
At least
Streetwise and intellect. Right, let's do Agnar first with his big old -3.
I shouldn't say roll survival.
haven't even warmed up any dice. I forgot we were playing an actual role-playing game. Agnar got 6 total,
Okay.
and I'm like 9 minus 3, and Stefan. Stefan rolled a 7 plus 2 is a 9.
Okay.
So is it streetwise plus intellect, you say?
Yep.
Kara rolled a 7 plus 2 plus 0, which is 9. And Soraya rolls a 9. Oh, even better. Pick up. 8 plus 2 is a 10.
Okay. As you make your way sort of along the street, you can actually see the outline of one of the towers that forms the Coronet Hotel off in the distance, and the lake shore around it. And Soraya notices, as you do, a sort of gaggle of Pelago fans, clearly, and not just Pelago fans, but clearly VCI fans, based on the yellow and black outfits. And they are hustling down the street. They've clearly had a couple of drinks, or they're just a bit excitable, and they are they're just meandering down. But you do notice they are kind of as a gaggle, as a group, and they're all wearing the same team colours.
Soraya nudges Stefan in the ribs a bit hard with her elbow.
Oh,
Hey, look.
do that
Please.
for?
Partly because I just wanted to, and it's enjoyable, but partly because look, there's a whole load of VCI. They might know what has to do with the team. Should we go? Should we go ask?
Have you
Yeah,
Have you got that photo?
yeah. I haven't let anyone else touch the tablet.
Don't start with him. You know, work the way around everyone else in the photo, and pick out the people that look like they're important in the photo, and ask who these people. Say we want to get to know the competition.
Very smooth.
Or say, oh, you're not real fans. I bet you don't. I bet you can't identify all the people in these pictures. And start with some of the crew and some of the key players, and then work your way around to our buddy.
Don't know why he's saying me. Sounds like you've sorted this out already. She grabs him by the sleeve and hoiks him over, and then pushes and hands him the tablet as she pushes him in front of the crowd of fans.
He'll look to one and say, hey, pal.
Yeah.
Pal.
Who am I greeted by, Ben? What am I looking at here?
He's
short of a VCI fan.
Yeah, he's wearing VCI clothing, but it's clearly not his job, if you know what I mean. He's clearly a fan, not a member of the team. And he looks slightly sketchy, I suppose, a bit of a guy you wouldn't necessarily think that's an absolutely upstanding citizen if you if you saw him on the street.
It's like
Classic VCI fan.
For Stefan.
Yeah, is Stefan just looking in a mirror?
Yeah. You've effectively blocked him, and all of his mates are now flowing past you, ignoring you completely, and he's standing there looking at you slightly bewildered. Yeah.
Listen. You Stefan's got one hand with the crowd of people in his credit chip pocket, making sure all his cash is safe. Listen, you couldn't set a bet here with me and my friend, could you?
Will it take long? We've got like 9 more bars.
Well, that depends how good you are, really. My buddy over here, she thinks that you're not real VCI fans. She thinks that you are glory hunters. I mean, and he'll lean in classic Gek, right?
Up the Gex!
Up the Gex.
Up the Gex!
Well, GEC is all I can. That's all I can. I know it's the
Giikur Export Consortium, yeah. You're a GEC fan?
I'm not. She is.
He sort of looks at her like he's seen a slug for the first time, you know.
Gosh. Listen. Anyway, we've got a bet going. I think you guys are the real deal. She reckons that you won't be able to identify all these people in this stock picture here. Right, look, who's that? And he'll point to one of the people that's clearly part of the team, not necessarily someone high, not a pilot.
Okay.
Have we established? But like one of the mechanics or tech people, and say, look, who's that?
Can you roll a persuade for me with your choice of carouse, since he's been partying a bit, or social?
Can I indeed? Oh.
Can he indeed?
Carouse or social?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can. Stefan's actually not too bad at that. I will go carouse and persuade for a +2.
Okay.
That's a 6 +2 is an 8. So it depends, I guess. But it's not bad.
All right. He sort of focuses a bit down on the picture and he looks at it and he goes, no idea.
What about this one? And he'll point to somebody that is clearly in charge of piloting or navigating the vehicle around the course.
Yeah, that one I know. Ginger something. Ginger. No, it begins with a D. It's Ginger.
No, it's fine. You're not helping me. What about this guy? And he'll point to Fess.
Yeah, I know that one.
Who's that?
Begins with a J. I can't remember the name, but he's like this famous oceanographer. So they got him for plotting the best route through the islands. It begins with a J or a P. Possibly an L.
Oh.
Yeah, one of the letters. Thanks.
Definitely a letter. It definitely begins with a letter.
Just lost me 100 credits. Thanks.
Pay up, Steph. I can't. While the man's watching.
No, listen. This guy here. This is the guy who's waltzing around in the jacket, giving it all that with his mates. He should pay you the 100 credits. Go on, and he'll push him towards Soraya.
Okay. Can
Wow.
you make a persuade, please?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, he's drunk, right? So
yeah.
Fair play.
Clearly.
You're going to need to do social with persuade, please.
Okay, that's fair. Can we? Well, we'll come back to the moment. That's a 9 + 1 persuade and 0 social is a 10.
All right. Okay. He looks her up and down. He says, "I'm not paying a GC fan."
Well, good. I don't want your dirty money anyway. And your fancy oceanographer plotting courses when your team come last.
No, not last. first is the idea. That's why you have them.
Yeah, well, maybe he'd better do better than last time then, hadn't he?
No, he's new. You see, last time he was with a different team. We got him this time.
Well, you nabbed him, did you? You can't bring your own decent people into it. You have to steal people from other teams. That's a cheap way of doing things, isn't it? I bet he
Quite an
probably.
expensive way, I hear.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Classic VCI not understanding. No, I don't want your money anyway.
Listen.
Go away. Go. Get off. Get off. Give me grief with your Mr.
Instead of you two
PJ.
arguing, why don't you have a bet between yourselves over who's going to win, GEC or VCI? Look, I'll broker it for you. Both give me 100 credits, and whoever comes before the other team gets 200 Imperial credits, and he'll hold out his device to Soraya.
So I says, well, look, they come last.
I'm an impartial imp fan, me.
They come last time. They're going to come last again because they have to steal guys off other teams. So yeah, I'll put 100 in. She pings 100 over to Stefan's account. I don't know if he will though.
Yeah.
Because he knows they're going to come last. He knows it.
Listen, let him make his own mind up.
He won't know. He'll bottle it.
He's a grown man.
They're coming last again.
And
What's a
Stefan
boy?
will hold out his device.
Roll persuade for me, please, with your social. This will be contested effectively.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a 7 + 1 is an 8.
Okay. He frowns at you for a couple of seconds and he says, I'm not giving money to you either. Are you mad? And he turns around and starts stalking off up the street.
Up the
Fair
gates.
enough. Stefan says, well, at least I got 100 credits out of it, and winks at Soraya and turns to walk away. But he'll stop after the joke becomes not funny and ping the credits back and say, well, it's worth a shot. I thought it was all right, to be honest.
Oh. No, God loves a trier.
Maybe if we'd have met them after a couple more bars.
Well, the night's still young.
That's true. That is true. You never know. We might bump into them at the Cascade.
Actually, speaking of which, Kat.
Yeah.
Would you still be able to pull strings to get us into the Cascades tonight? Get us on the guest list. You are the girl with the most love there.
I don't see why not. I know a few of the people who work there. Sure.
Fantastic. That would be great. Thank you. You're up for a big night out, aren't you? You're always up for a big night out.
I'm always missing the Cascade. I'm irritated I'm not in it now.
Well, Agnar's got to get a few hours of sleep apparently, but after that I think we're good to go. Gives us enough time to get our glad rags on because I'm suddenly a mum from the 80s, and then we can all head over. I'll do some free drinks or something. It'll be good.
And it'll probably take a team of like 20 people 4 or 5 hours to load my luggage into the room. So
exactly.
That is well established canon. At this point.
Well established. Yeah. So you head off towards the hotel. As I say, it slowly comes into view. I'm sure you can remember the rough structure, but broadly speaking, it's a circle of spires connected by bridges that run around the ring, which on about half of those spires are on the land, and the other half are in the shallow part of Lake Simel, stretching out into the water. There's a waterfront path which runs across from one side to the other, just inside the the edge of the lake. There is a main reception area at the furthest point from the lake, the bit facing onto the center of the island, and that has a connection straight down to the middle of that cross path, and then it continues all the way through to the gap between two towers out in the water, in a sort of with a floating jetty, and that jetty has spaces where you can moor boats and other craft that are water capable on alongside and at the end of it. The hotel is quite smart looking. So you head straight up towards the reception.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was waiting for Luke to make the decision and then just went along with it.
That's very much
Sounds about
Soraya.
right.
That's very much Soraya marching forwards at the delight of Tim. Shouted across the foyer.
A person looks up and is in fact a Tim you recognise. You've met this Tim before.
Oh, hey! She holds both
Andy
her arms
Tim.
open from a long way. Hey, do you remember us?
He nods and says, "Absolutely."
You were always so good to us first time. It's a pleasure to be back.
Does Stefan believe him?
I tipped him well. I tip everyone well. I'm an over.
I mean, you can definitely. Tell you what, make a deception roll with intellect.
Oh, don't burst my bubble. I was happy just assuming he was happy.
That's a flat 8 with nothing.
Okay. As far as you can tell, he's telling the truth. And bearing in mind, you basically lived out of this hotel for a week ago, or 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. That's not entirely surprising. You would expect him to have probably remembered you. It was less than a month ago you checked in.
That's true.
Oh.
Okay.
Tim, how you been doing? You been working out?
Not unusually.
You look healthy. You look radiant.
Thank you. I've been enjoying some swimming.
Good. It shows. It shows. Your skin looks very, very soft.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. We're back in town, as many people are, of course. And we thought, right, where should we stay? We want just a couple of nights, but where can we stay? And we're like, we know exactly where we're staying. We're staying where the best Tims are and the best surroundings are. And we got very, very lucky and we managed to get some rooms. Because there's quite a lot of us. You should have a booking under Baltic Star, Soraya Baltic Star, for like 12 or something. 12, yeah, for 12.
Okay. I'll just check for you. He glances down for a fraction of a second. A booking that large, he actually knew was in the system. He just needs to confirm it hasn't been cancelled or anything like that. He glances down and immediately smiles. I have it right here. You have been offered the same arrangements as you had last time in the waterside towers, but we do at the moment, before the race actually really gets underway, we do have the option to move you to the land side if you prefer.
Is there any reason why we would, Ben, knowing the lie of the land? What would be the reason to move to the land side?
Just some people might prefer it, I guess. There's no notable reason for it.
No, it was nice because I think at least one of us got up and wandered pretty much naked around the balcony early in the morning, which is much easier to do waterside than landside.
It is.
Oh no, thank you for the kind offer, Tim, but we'll take those waterside rooms. Such a beautiful view, such a beautiful breeze last time around.
Well, I'm glad you're back with us. Always happy to welcome you.
No, we're glad to be back, and we're always glad to be welcomed. So I will sort of do the signing in or whatever and drop him an 80 credit tip, please, because that takes me down to an extra 0.
Okay. Yes. Why? Thank you very much. Very generous.
Thank you, Tim. One thing, if you see, she sort of grabs the tablet off Stefan and points at Fess on it. So, if you see this guy, do you know this guy?
I'm sorry, I don't really follow the sport.
That's not a problem. That's not a problem. Is there any chance if this guy comes asking for us, could you tell him we're not here, and then let us know, please? He's sort of, we got in a bit of an argument with him recently over Pelago racing. Stefan just didn't shut up about it, and it's just, and do you know what I mean? Nothing will happen. We just rather have nothing to do.
He
We're
owes me 100 credits.
No, leave it, right? We're here for a peaceful time. We're here for a peaceful time, a good
I will
time.
not leave it.
No. We've got to look after the whole group, Stefan.
The guy looks down at the tablet and says, "This individual here."
Is he pointing at Fess?
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy. That guy.
The chap takes out his personal device and holds it over and takes a quick picture of it, checks that he's got it, and he says, "I'll pass it around the staff."
Thank you. It's much appreciated. Now come then, group. Let's go. We've got rooms.
All right.
We've got rooms to mess up.
You head straight out the other side of the reception, along that path that leads out into the lake, and then keep going until you reach the point where the sort of walkway, the jetty, passes through the gap between two of the towers. On the sides there are entrances into both sides, but you know this hotel quite well. You know that you just turn to the right and go into the foot of that tower. You then find yourself a lift, which carries you up to the walkway level, and you walk 2 towers round towards the north and then curving slowly towards the east before you find your tower. And just 2 levels down, you have pretty much that entire floor of that tower to yourselves. So you've got rooms facing outwards and inwards, but the whole tower sits in the water.
Lovely. How many people per room, Ben?
Well, normally you do 2 per room
Yes.
at a hotel like this.
That's cool. Oh, Stefan, who are you going in with? Me? I won't feel sad if you want to go in with someone else, of course.
No, yeah, let's bring the old gang back together. Management room.
The management room, yeah. We'll put a note up. I'll see if I can get it laminated, make it look well professional. Nice on management room. Agnar, who are you going in with?
Who look around? Who's up for? I don't know. Who's up for a game of Azixer?
Kara slopes away behind the group.
Anyone?
Zoe immediately looks up and says, "I'll destroy you."
He calls her out across you and me.
And then she'll play you at Azixer.
It'll be a bloodbath.
Oh no. We'll call it the bloodbath room.
You're gonna come out with bald patches. I tell you, this is going to go poorly for you.
We'll see who's going to come out with bald patches right after my nap.
He grins and says, "I'm almost all bald patch."
Come on then, you and me, unless you want to share with someone else.
No, I'm up for that.
Kara will grab Rose. Rose, you happy to go in with me?
Sure.
If everyone's going old school. Excellent. So that leaves Johnny and is it two more? We got Johnny and Rick, which feels like a combination.
Mhm.
Oh no, Johnny would no. Although Johnny might want to go with Sammy.
Johnny and Sammy, yeah, maybe.
Oh yeah, because then Rick can stay with he can be the science room with what's her name? With our new geologist, whose name I always forget.
Oh, archaeologist.
Yeah, archaeologist. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, what's her name again? Goodness sake!
Um,
I've opened the encyclopedia. So sad I don't know the name of a couple of our crew. Freya. Freya.
it is, yeah, thank
Freya.
you.
Freya.
Freya Cranov.
Which means the last one will be Cat and someone. I feel it's Cat and is it Gerg? Cat and Gerg. A strange combo.
Okay. Yeah, why not?
Why not? Mix it all up.
Right.
You can get to know each
Can
other.
you just give that a rundown for me one more time, please?
Yes.
So I'm sure of who's with who. It
Steph.
may come in relevant.
Steph. That's why we always do it, I guess, isn't it? Stefan and Soraya.
Yeah.
Agnar and Zoe in the bloodbath room. Cara and Rose. Then the Cress room.
Yeah. And then Cat and Gerg.
Then Cat and Gerg and Rick and Freya. That's the nerd. That's the nerd room.
Yeah. Yeah. And remember, you're in one of the towers in the lake, so it's not the Cress room; it's the Water Cress room.
Oh God, no!
Oh.
When did it all go so wrong?
Part of me wants to give you some credit for that.
But there's a bigger part of you that's wondering how you can hurt me from a distance.
Play role-play games, they said. Have a good time, they said. Oh, no.
Here we are dealing with watercress puns.
So you all split off to your various rooms. They all have the same basic arrangement, which I'm sure you remember. There's a sort of balcony on the outside and a balcony on the inside as well. But the rooms face one side principally, and the other side is a little sort of nook rather than the proper thing. Internally, they're kind of triangular in shape, if you see what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all very pleasant. Exactly as you remember, they're nicely laid out.
They should be. The amount I had to pay for them.
Yeah.
It isn't a cheap hotel, you're right. And it's probably significantly more expensive when the Pelago race is on.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So you split up to your various contingents and prepare. Obviously, Agnar's preparation mostly involves sleeping, but some of them may be doing other things to prepare. And as people, get ready for the evening ahead, I think that's a good time to take our break.
It's a very good time to take the break.
It is indeed.
Nice.
So we'll be back in 5. That's the usual line, isn't it? Probably more like 10, but somewhere in
5
between.
minutes or so. We will be straight back with the toast, of course, and then we'll resume with some exploring and counter-espionage on Giikur.
Oh, I'm excited now. Look at that. Listen to that. Stabbing fest, if we can find him. Hang on. No, I need to find the intro now. Talk amongst yourselves. There it is. You two did such a good outro then as well. Hang on.
I know, but we can do something like that again. In fact, we could actually say something like, thank you so much for joining us so far, and we hope you'll stick with us for another few minutes until we get back.
Good man, we'll edit that in.
Yeah, we can do that better.
Hello, everyone. Ben.
So, Greyhill Bast, he was an interesting person, and he lived an interesting life. And almost all of that life happened before the Travellers ever met him, of course. But the very first meeting with the Travellers was on Dillabrew, the world they've just come from, on their first visit to the planet. And when they first saw him, he was skulking around following them with nefarious plans afoot. But in line with what has become something of a trend in the way this party goes through games, he was cornered, but then recruited rather than brutally murdered. Something that's become something of a trend and something of an approach that the party takes with new people that they meet. And the very first journey the Baltic Star took, it actually had a different mission to the one that we're familiar with today. It wasn't being used as a tramp liner. It was being used with us for a scientific survey sponsored by a corporation. And all of the crew were recruited to it, including the Travellers, by the way, by the project team, directly or indirectly, except for Greyhill. He was brought on board by the party as a private steward to make the journey more relaxed and to keep them with glasses charged and full plates and lots of interesting raconteurism in the bar of an evening. In other words, he was always unique. From the very day he entered our lives, he was completely unique. And perhaps it's worth taking a moment to celebrate the fact that that makes his story a little bit different from everyone else's. And remember that every character has something about them that makes them unique. So that story is only theirs. There's their story. And even if he was never really my favorite character, and he wasn't in truth, he made an impression on me and everyone who met him. And I miss a lot of things about him. So in that spirit, to absent friends and the late, great Greyhill Bast.
Great Greyhill Bast. Very touching.
Thank you, Ben. That was lovely.
So, we find ourselves at the Coronet Hotel.
So right, Stefan said that was a good idea. Keeping the eye out for our buddy Bess.
Mm.
Good
We
thinking.
We need a code word for his name so that management can discuss him without people random passers-by knowing who we're talking about.
Yeah, I think the whole team we need something.
Well, we could offer it out in discussion later on. Good management would come up with a really good name for everyone to use, but excellent management would put it to the team and come up with something that everyone is fully behind.
They wouldn't put it to the team in public though, where people could overhear and.
No, of course not.
Yeah, it could be sat right behind us.
Exactly. I tell you what we'll do.
You're right.
What we should do is, she grabs her device and she sends a group message out to all the crew. Says, "Hey, we feel the need to come up with a new name for Fess, so we can discuss him. We're back on Giikur, where he's around. So anyone that's got any good suggestions for a code name for Fess, just drop it here, and management will fully get behind the best suggestion." Kiss, kiss, kiss.
Did you actually just send that in a group chat across our devices? These aren't secure. We need to do it like in a in somebody's hotel room that's been swept for bugs, there needs to be like
Oh,
the radio on in the corner as loud as possible. We need to be really close in talking together so nobody can monitor what we're saying.
it's so boring sometimes.
And there has to be a lot of the eagle flies high at night.
Once we've got the code, we can use code. Then no one will know who the eagle is when he's flying high at night.
Well, yeah, but the code's no good if everybody knows. If Bess knows the code, is it?
Oh, don't mention his name.
There's no point in having one.
His filthy name. I feel I need to shake my fist at that.
Listen, you remember what happened to Carla last time? She got bugged.
She did get
You could
bugged.
I could be bugged. Anyone could be. Our rooms could be bugged. We could be talking in a bugged room.
Ah, that's a good
He
point.
could be listening now.
Hey, Fess. I'm gonna sit here. I'll do. Why don't we get Kara to scan the rooms then? And I'll sit here and I will read all the buckyball scores that I can find from the last 15 years until the rooms are swept. Yeah, he'll enjoy that.
Giikur, nil.
You,
Killer Brew, 1.
you go get Kara. You go get Kara. Gets to do a sweep
Okay.
before she gets too dressed up for the night. I'll sit here and I'll
Yeah,
read
yeah.
off. I'll read off the scores just in case.
Good call. Good call. And Stefan will go running to. Wait, I've got it written down. Carl and Rose's room.
It's now known as the Cool Dudettes room because that's what cool dudettes call themselves.
Okay. All right. So you want to run a scan?
Yes, please.
You get your +1 for the scan. Electronics communications, please, with intellect.
+1 for the scan. Electronics communications with intellect. Oh yeah. This is why it was so weird because I rolled really badly once because I get a +5 on this, so it's normally okay, but every now and again. Kara will start by scanning the Cool Dudettes room with a third 8 of the night. +5 is 13.
Okay. You're pretty confident there are no electronic devices within the space.
She gives the thumbs up to Stefan and says, I suppose I've got to do all of these rooms now, right? Before I get changed?
Well, yeah, I mean, ideally, I suppose.
Mm.
I mean, we could just tell people not to talk about stuff that doesn't want to go around and we do all the talking in your room, but it'd be nice to know everywhere's clear. But also, while you're doing it, could you just, could you walk me through the basics?
Well, yeah, so...
like what button to press, where you wave it.
Well, you just you hold it like this. I'll tell you, I'll show you in the Crest room. They go
Yeah, precisely.
She goes and bangs on the Crest room door, please, the water Crest room.
Sure. Yep, Sammy opens the door.
Hey, Sam, stop. And she sort of shows the device. Is this okay?
Sure.
Okay, so what you got to do, just watch what I do, okay? Watch the buttons I press, Stefan. It's not too difficult. And she starts the scan.
Okay.
Which is a little bit worse, but still a 7 plus 1. 7 plus 5 is 12.
Yep. Again, no bugs seem to show up.
Do you get that, Stefan?
Wait, were you holding that button down, or did you just press it?
Oh, I'll show
it's
you.
Hard. You've got to be really defined with your movements. It's hard to tell.
I'll show you in the nerd room. She goes and bangs on Rick and Freya's door.
Okay. Rick opens the door.
Hey, Rick.
Yeah, something wrong?
Yeah, we're just going to use this, okay?
Okay.
Right, so watch this time.
I'm watching.
But she does this one rather well. That's a 9 plus 5 is 14.
Okay, it comes back clean, and Freya is staring at it with some confusion. What does it do?
It scans for... Wow, that's not listening. it scans
Oh,
for
right,
what
yeah.
it scans for what room's the best party room, and yours just came out the bottom, and she just wanders off. Go on, let's go to the old couple room. She knocks on it. Cat, you there?
Cat answers the door, half dressed. She's in the process of, it's like luggage has exploded in this room, and her stuff is everywhere, and she's wearing some of it, but not an entire outfit. Yes.
Hang on a second. Gerg, you all right? You got any space there?
There's a sort of muffled, "It's fine, got a book."
Oh, poor boy. Okay. She waves the device at Cat. I've just got to do this again, okay?
Sure.
The worst so far. 6 plus 5 is 11.
Right. There doesn't seem to be anything in the room or on any of the people there.
Okay. Come on then, let's go to the bloodbath room. I hope they haven't started already. She goes and knocks on the door. Agnar! Agnar, wake up! Agnar!
Oh, and he goes to answer the door. Yeah? What are you doing?
Oh,
What's
I didn't need you. I could have just asked for Zoe, but I thought it'd be more fun this way. Just going to use this device. And then once I've done it, Stefan's going to have a practice, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Oh, that's the best one. 10 plus 5 is 15.
Okay. You get a little flutter this time, which is coming from one of Zoe's bags.
Kara quietly walks over to Zoe. I'm guessing she's in there. And shows her the readout on the device. And points to where the flutter is.
And Zoe nods and says, "Yeah, I bug my room."
Okay, as long as you know what it is.
Yeah, it's me. Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. In fact, this is a really good chance for Stefan to have a go because he's got something to find. She carefully hands
What?
the device over to Stefan.
Where?
No, you've got to find it. Now, take this carefully. Did you see what I was doing?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I got it.
Okay. So that's electronic communication. Electronics communications, plus your intellect, +1.
Now, Ben.
That's how it works.
seeing as Stefan is gonna be rubbish at this because he has no training in it other than literally knowing the buttons to push, watching what Kara did. Can he use some combination of deception and streetwise to either mimic what Kara was doing or to ascertain the best place that Zoe would put a bug in her own room? I mean, I say he would use his streetwise to ascertain the best place, and then he would use deception to lie and say, "Yes, I scanned the room."
Okay.
Realistically,
I mean, finding a bug without the device is going to be a hard check, but you can certainly try to use streetwise to see if you can spot anything. Yeah.
Okay.
That will be streetwise with intellect.
I'll go with that, and he'll start pushing the buttons as Kara has demonstrated. And that is a 6 plus a 2 is an 8. So
Okay.
nowhere near as good as Kara's.
You have no idea. Nothing looks out of place. Nothing looks obvious.
Yes, there's some very interesting readings. In fact, I'm getting, and he'll hold up his fingers to Kara, flash the device around really quickly.
Really?
There's two.
She takes the device off him and looks at the device briefly, and like gently like slaps him around the back of the head.
Hey, look! At least I pressed the right buttons right then.
Close enough, yeah.
I'll give
Yeah,
you.
it's not far off.
You certainly press some buttons. Anyway, come on, let's go.
I'm just not as honed with it as you are. You know, I haven't got the practice.
Let's go and do your room, and then we're done. And then if you'll feel happier, then we can get ready for the evening.
And as they make their way out the door, I say, well, you know, it's not just copying what someone else has done. It's, you know, it's an art form. You know this more than anyone else.
I always say that electronics and art and philosophy are very much three wings of the same bird.
Yeah, the
That's
AFE.
three-winged bird.
The three-winged bird. It's
art, philosophy.
Art,
What was
philosophy,
the other
and
one?
electronics.
And electronics, the ape.
Yeah, exactly. The ape bird, the classical ape bird from Aslan mythology. You know, come on. She barges into the room and immediately just starts pinging it whilst Sora's just like in the middle. She's just sat there reading off her device. So she's like, hang on a sec. She'll be like, Achilles von Cotswold, 73. Ivan von Cotswolds in his first game, 7. Oh, okay. And she still keeps talking, reading through the scores as Kara rolls. See, she's cocky, but I don't know if it's going to be so good. It's a 5 this time. A 5 plus 5 is 10.
Okay. You don't get any signal.
Okay. I think it's good, Soraya. You can stop now if you want. So no, I'm enjoying myself now. It's just nice going down all these old games.
Oh no!
Come on, Stefan. I'll keep reading as we get ready to go out. Come, you'll enjoy it.
Wait,
there's a really good game coming up in 3 games' time. There's some really interesting scores that I think you'll quite like how it sort of patterns out. It like follows like the Fibonacci sequence. It's really interesting.
the what?
You'll recognise it when I read the numbers out. Thanks, Gara.
Fibonacci's sequence.
Sequins? There's no sequins.
Some kind of coat or shiny garment.
I'll tell you what. Tomorrow we'll go to a clothes shop and you can ask for a Fibonacci sequence.
No, I remember this guy. He played for a team
It's
in
definitely an
rim,
A-line,
didn't he?
an A-line skirt, right?
Fibonacci sequence, yeah. He was a good bowler.
Yeah, very good.
Before Cara goes, Stefan, I'll just say, hey, that's not just the rooms, right? That's us as well.
Anyone that was in the room at the time gets scanned, yeah. And I was in all the rooms, and you were in all the rooms. You feel happier now, Stefan?
Yeah, definitely.
Good. Keep practicing, and one day you may be of some use. And she sort of wanders off, looking a bit grumpy that her prep time had been taken up on a wild goose chase.
But you never know, do you?
Well, you do never know.
You never know, do you?
You never know. Mine are just getting ready for the evening. I know that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just so you know, there's been plenty of time for your query to run.
Oh yes, I did remember that, and then he sent me on the wild goose chase. So Cara will have her and Rose will be having like a drink of something from the minibar, and we'll be sort of trying each other's clothes on and like sort of trying things out and working out the combos. When she sort of jumps onto the bed, it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. Hang on a second, Rose. Turn the music down a little bit. I need to concentrate. And she looks onto the computer to see what the agent has found.
Okay. First of all, it turns out the name Mattis Fess is seemingly quite notable in press releases and things about the team. So it turns out that the VCI team did indeed purchase his services. Now, he wasn't bought from another team. It's just that the previous year, a different team had purchased his services, if you know what I mean. He wasn't contracted to anyone. He is widely known, it seems, as an expert in oceanography and water and currents and all the things that might be very helpful if you're plotting the fastest route. It becomes rapidly clear that a significant part of the preparation for the race, at the same time as you're getting your craft fettled and ready to go, is also working out exactly what route you're going to follow. And though, depending on weather and currents and things like that, you will adjust it during the race, the teams pretty much have an inch by inch idea of what they're planning to do when they set off. And Fess appears to be something of an expert. Now, having said that, in last year's race, he was picked up by Corton Transport. That's the team who had him last year. And they only finished 4th.
Yeah.
So, though his personal skills are highly regarded, it may be that you need more than just a good route to be successful. Corton didn't do terribly badly, you understand, but very much mid-pack.
Interesting. Is everything that she found just that sort of stuff about?
Yeah, there's a great deal of that. There are comments about people being excited that they have his services. A couple of comments from people who worked with him last year at Corton saying, obviously we'd have liked to have him back, but clearly it isn't appropriate for the same person to have a role in more than one team, and they got his services this year.
Interesting. Carol screenshot a few of the bits on her device and ping them back over to Stefan and Soraya, just so that because they were the ones that asked to show the stuff. And then
there is one other thing that pops up actually in that search. It's not directly related to Fess himself, but he's mentioned in a lot of articles about a controversial thing that is happening this year for the first time ever.
Oh.
2 teams, DSS, Detton Support Services, and VCI, from Cotswold Incorporated, haven't designed and built their own craft. They've both purchased identical craft from a third-party designer.
Ooh.
And there's a lot of debate about whether that's cheaper or more expensive, whether it's in the spirit of the rules to not design your own but actually buy one in, and whether everybody will be doing it next year or in a couple of years' time, or whether it'll end up with like 2 or 3 manufacturers competing with various people buying their various designs for different prices, and it'll become a sort of manufacturer on manufacturer competition as well as a team on team competition. But there's a lot of controversy about that this year.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Do we know the name of the third party?
No, they've actually refused to say. Both teams have
Very good question.
Have said it's controversial. It's confidential, sorry.
Interesting.
But they are identical craft.
They are seemingly exactly the same design. They're obviously painted in different colors, different sponsors, all that kind of thing. But yeah, they look to be exactly the same craft.
Mhm. Nice. Thank you. So she'll take the picture of it and send it over to the two of them, to management, and then get Rose to turn the music up and carry on getting herself ready for a night out on the town.
Okay. After a few hours, everyone is sort of reached the point where they're comfortable. I suspect Kat's on outfit number 15 or something, but she's finally settled on one she likes. And she's gathering everyone together with an excited grin, saying that she knows one or two of the people working at the Cascade tonight, and yeah, the fix is in. You're all getting in.
Oh, that is
That's
amazing.
it, Cat.
She's done good, hasn't she? She's done good, Agnar. How's your nap? You look refreshed.
I feel great. I'm ready. I'm more ready than last time we went out, and I was, pretty ready last time.
Oh, good. As long as you're still feeling good at 3 this morning, that's the main thing.
How was your nap? Everyone else had a nap, right?
Yes, we all had a nap. That's exactly what young, virile, full of energy people do.
When you say young, you're what? 34, 35 now?
Early 30s, very early 30s.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, long, much younger.
Do a little nudge. Come on, let's listen. I bet if we go now, we could be the first at the bar.
Oh yeah, because it's really cool to be the first at a bar, Ragnar.
Is it not?
Well,
I don't mean in the whole place. I mean out of that lot.
Oh, I see your point. Oh, in that case, yeah, let's do that. You know what we need to do? As they're walking down, sort of leading the way, Cara turns to Agnar. You know what we need to do? We need to see if we can get in touch with the commander to see if we can hire a boat for Sharp as one of our little favours to her.
Call up the Commodore.
Yeah, he liked.
Mm.
We got on well with him. He especially liked you. I think he liked your posh ways. We don't need to worry about it tonight.
You want me to call him, don't you?
Yeah, it probably doesn't need to be tonight. Well, you can if you want, but tomorrow morning's probably okay, and you'll be up before the rest of us anyway, with your bladder, if no other reason.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'll call him if you check with Kat. Just make sure it's not going to be awkward for her seeing her ex-employee or us borrowing,
Stealing?
getting a boat off of them.
Well, okay.
If you want to steal it, you're talking to the wrong person.
No, that is very true. But then the other person, I haven't seen him steal anything big for a while. She presses the button on the lift and leaves Agnar there and heads back down to Kat, catching a full whiff of her perfume, no doubt. Kat, you got a second? I was just wondering something.
Yeah, sure.
You know how you sort of jumped ship from the Commodore and we sort of stole you at the same time, kind of thing?
Yeah.
If we wanted to contact the Commodore about trying to sort out a boat for Olivia Sharp, would you be okay with us making contact? And secondly, do you think he would be okay with us making contact?
I mean, in a purely professional capacity, I suspect he would try to maintain some sense of decorum and not burn bridges, but I think he's probably going to be pretty pissed with me.
That is true. Okay, we don't want to make things hard for you. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, if you didn't mention me and he didn't kind of realize, then you might get away with it, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. That's possible. We'll give it some thought. Thank you. We definitely don't want to make things difficult for you while we're here. We're supposed to be having a good time, aren't we, really? So, before our long flight. Thanks. I just wanted to run it past you first before we made any decisions
Having a
on
good
that.
time is definitely my plan. It's just weird that on the way to having a good time, there's apparently shopping that needs to be done for a piece of wood, and then there needs to be a nap, and then we need to have a conversation at a lift. It just seems a lot of things get put in the way of the getting to the bar and having a good time.
Get the one person behind every single one of those is Agnar. It's Agnar's wood, it was Agnar's nap, and it was Agnar that told me to speak to you. He's a crotchety old man today, I tell you. I think he doesn't want to party. We need to encourage him. We need to enthuse him.
Or we need to get him drunk and shave him.
Oh, now this is very good idea. It's been a very long time, I think, since he's been shaved. Let's do it.
I'm not serious. You can't shave a Varga. They get really upset about that.
No, don't let me down. Come on, let's party. Let's get this conga going. Cara grabs Rick Furlow's hips to force a conga. Come on, Rick. Pushes him into the lift.
There's this slight sort of roll of the eyes from Kat, and she says, "I need to find younger friends."
Don't be embarrassed. Come on, this was all the rage when I was your age. Come on.
She shrugs and follows into the into the party group, and you set off up the coast road. Are you going to just go straight there, or are you going to duck inside into the inner parts of the island still?
We just go straight there, Ewan. We got no stops needed,
Yeah.
have we? Yeah. Yep.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. You make your way there. It seems a fairly uneventful trip. There are a fair few displays of the Pelago race coming. Shops and buildings seem to have colour strips hanging on them. Some have all 8 sets of team colours up. Some have deliberately chosen one that they're clearly in favour of. Bars seem to be particularly bedecked with all of the colours, all 8. So as to encourage people to come and watch the preambles and the setup matches and everything. And it's early evening now, and as the evening sort of draws in, you discover that some of them also have light displays that are in team colours and project various logos and things like that onto the street outside or onto the roof of the building. They've clearly gone to some lengths to make it feel like it's a bit different because the race is on. And this becomes ever more pronounced as you get closer and closer to the Cascade, because a lot of people are now wearing team colours and chatting quite excitedly. There are some groups where they're all wearing the same colour strip. Most groups aren't like that, though. Mostly you get a gaggle of people in a variety, a random assortment of the teams. It doesn't seem to be an insanely tribal thing for most people. This is more like the boat race than like the FA Cup final, if you see what I mean. Seems relatively civilized, and as everyone, as you get closer and closer, you find that there's a fair huddle of people clustered around the entrance to the Cascade. Some forming a slightly ragged queue in the hope that they'll be seen one at a time. Others seemingly meandering around by the entrance, trying to talk their way straight in by the guards. Kat, in her element, just steps forward and leads you through the crowd. And when she gets to the front, she just gives like a little nod of the head to one of the guys who's working the line, and he steps back and waves all of you in without even a word being exchanged.
It's who you know, Agnar. It's who you know.
It is indeed. As much so in these circles as in others. As we're going in, Stefan will turn to Soraya and will say, "Listen, I heard Kat saying to Cara earlier that she needs to get some younger friends. I'm a little bit worried. Listen, we don't want to lose our pilot, right? Certainly not halfway across a scouting mission in the middle of nowhere. We need to make sure that we show her a young, cool person time tonight.
Mate,
and I'm counting on you."
is that
Because I don't know what that means.
a grey hair in your sideburn? I'm sure it wasn't there last week.
Just get on board, all right?
I am on board. Look, I mean,
Do you wanna be stranded in the middle of nowhere in space without a pilot?
No, definitely. But
Can you
I am a
Can you fly
pilot.
the Baltic Star?
I can fly anything. Just give me the stick and I'll point it somewhere. How dare
No,
you?
like a proper pilot.
What do you mean, like a proper pilot? What do you think I did for 16 years?
Look, I'm not asking for much. I'm just saying be young, cool, and trendy and show Kat a good time. It's hardly like I'm asking you to.
So
I'm not pulling teeth here.
So I'm not a proper
Just
pilot.
get
I'm
on
not
board.
cool and young. Oh my goodness.
No, I'm not saying you're not. I'm saying you are. I'm saying
Oh.
let's
Mate.
just make an extra effort is all I meant.
Honestly, speak to the hand. And she sort of she walks off. She's wearing she's looking quite youthful. You know, in the way that younger people can wear a well-fitted jumpsuit and it looks quite cool. A lot of people, it was quite big in London a little while back. And she's got one of those on that's very green because of course she's supporting the Gex, up the Gex.
Yes.
And she's looking pretty good. She's looking quite. She thought she was looking pretty young and hip and cool without being obvious about it. So she's very disappointed in Stefan, and she storms off to the bar.
Okay, so if you remember, inside, you walk into the sort of large foyer lobby area. And broadly speaking, from here, other than turning around and walking straight back out, your possible routes are straight on down towards the main ground floor area out the back with the bars on each side, all the way down to the water. Or there is a staircase going up on the right, which leads you to the upstairs bar that is on a kind of balcony overhanging it.
Yes, I remember it well. Soraya's just stormed off to the first bar, sort of on the ground level.
Okay.
And then has just gone there to get a drink. She sort of I would imagine a gaggle of the crew sort of come around that sort of same space as well.
Yeah. If you set off in that direction with sufficient purpose, everyone will more or less meander with you.
Cool.
Stefan's a bit confused at this point because he would normally go to the bar and get Soraya a drink to apologise, but she's gone straight to the bar. So he'll head up the stairs. He remembers vaguely hearing something about the rooftop being open during the Pelagro races and then projecting some fancy stuff.
All right.
Through a door in the upstairs that we never went through last time. So he'll wander off investigating in that general direction.
All right. As you set off, you find not exactly with you, but coming at a discreet distance in case you want to do something subtle. Zoe is following you up.
Wonderful. He'll turn around for a brief minute and make very quick eye contact, and then just scan across the room and turn back around, and he'll pause for long enough that she realizes something's going on.
Okay.
Or that he knows she's there. something's
Yeah.
not going on. He's just going upstairs.
Well, when you get to the top, essentially, you can turn left and head over onto the. If you go left there, you essentially walk out onto the very front edge of the balcony that overhangs the bar downstairs. Essentially, it overhangs about a third or so of the length between the foyer and the water. So it's much smaller space than the downstairs, but still quite substantial. And as you know, to your right there is a door.
He'll head straight right through the door.
Okay.
Attempt to go through the door, I suppose.
Can you roll a streetwise for me, please, with intellect?
That is a 9, +2 +0. So it's 11.
Okay. You open the door and immediately you feel the sort of cooling night air. You are in a space that is essentially invisible from the ground below because it's nestled in a terraced rock face. On to your right, essentially, the rocks start to slope away down towards what must be the majority of the island, the main northwestern part of the island. But you can't really see very far in that direction because they stand proud of your position. To the left, you can see rather better down towards the lake in a series of sort of steps and broken up areas, and many of them have tables and chairs set up for people. And there's a fair crowd here. I mean, the whole club is busy, but there's a fair crowd out here as well. Much of this table space and the terracing itself faces basically north, out over the ocean rather than over the lake. And though there are some bits around the corner. Another thing you notice is that waterfall, while it does indeed plummet over the edge and disappear, it actually comes from above you. So it's a considerable distance above your head. And it appears that there are, in addition to sort of paths that go down to various lower positions on this north-facing terracing, there are also some slopes that lead up above you and above the doorway and seem to go around towards where the waterfall is. Immediately to your west, you can see the way that the jagged lines of rocks head down to the north shore of Lake Simel, and where they eventually would disappear under the water. Of course, that's where they're chopped smooth to allow the top of that ridge to keep the water in at water level.
Okay. Is there a bar up here?
As you glance around, you see immediately that there is one really obvious bar pretty much to your left as you come out of the doors. And it seems to be broken over 3 terrace levels so that people on various terrace levels can easily get to it. The bar itself seems to be one entity, but it's 3 levels of it.
Wonderful. He will head to the bar.
Okay.
To grab a drink. Yeah, I can just one beer, please.
Okay. The barman happily pours you a drink and hands it over to you. That'll be
then
15, please.
Whoa!
15.
Whoa!
15, he'll say? Question mark?
Wow.
Last time I was here, there were no Pelagro races on, I suppose.
The prices are a little bit more expensive out here as well.
Well, thank you. Here, take 20.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, Stefan.
And he'll grab his beer. He was going to be on one beer for the night because Vess has been mentioned anyway, but that's sealed the deal now. He'll head up. He'll look to start making his way, I suppose, as high as he can go on the
Okay.
terraces. You find ideally find a point where he can just see the general goings on. He's not after anything in particular, but just
Right.
a little nosy.
You make your way up the terracing. It is not by any means a direct route. These terraces have been cut based for convenience of the tables and chairs and finding places for people to sit. It's a bit of a winding route to get up there. As you do, since you're now climbing sort of facing in towards the island with your back to the north, as you do climb, you do pass a couple of tables on a terraced area, which seems to be occupied by people who, if you're any judge, are actual Team Maglo people, not just fans, but actual members of the team. And they seem to be enjoying the evening and chatting animatedly, but they don't have anyone at their table who isn't in their team uniform. They're just a level or so above the entrance door. As you keep going up, a couple more levels to go, you eventually find that you are more or less at the point where the water comes out and where it rushes down over the top. And from this side, that just ends in a rough, rocky surface with a horizontal gap that the water pours out of. But you can tell, because there's a lot of gubbins there, that it's also here that the freezing water trick is performed on the water as it flows. There is a lot of power conduits and cables and stuff. And up at this level, there's no seating. They don't expect people to want to sit next to the humming power systems. There's a certain amount of noise, of course, from the waterfall as it goes over the edge. And as you get towards the sort of extreme edge, you can see that there's a hint of terraces down on the west side of the bar if you'd gone round the corner, which might be underneath the waterfall, just like the bar is below. And the sort of scale of it is quite large, this open area, even though it's relatively narrow as a sort of an area wrapped around the cascade. It's over multiple terraces, multiple layers, and it occupies the entire length of that lower bar where it's not covered by the balcony, and then seems to have some stuff wrapped around by the waterfall as well. From that vantage point up at the top, you're really quite high up. You can see far out over the ocean, even though it's too dark to really make much detail now. You can see the lights on boats on Lake Simel and the lights of the island the other side. You can see the lights on the train passing through the tunnel at the other side of Lake Simel, and plenty of lights from buildings and businesses all over that direction. From this side, it's not that easy to see most of the island you're actually on, the island of Lata, because it's the other side of the rise. But if you head at this level all the way back along there, you would eventually get a view down into the city.
Nice. He'll take a look out, and then from the very edge, he'll take quite a casual, bold lean over and have a little look down. Come back up, take a big swig from his beer, and then he will turn around and head towards the Team Maglo table. Start making his way back down.
So effectively head down a little bit, and they are not on the west side. They're still on the north facing side, but they're quite far west, almost all the way to the waterfall. And as you head along there, you spot them having a drink, having a quiet chat. Are you trying to sneak up, or just walk up and say hi, or just walk past them? You can
Ben,
continue round if you go past them.
Why would you put the sneaking idea into my head? No, he'll walk up quite brazenly, and he'll just say, "I'm sorry to interrupt you."
A couple of them ignore you and just keep on with their conversation, but the couple closest to you sort of look up and say, "Oh, hey, you a fan?"
I'm going to be honest, I'm not, but my friend is a massive fan, and I would be in her good books forever if you could just if you wouldn't mind an autograph or two. I'll look around the table.
Oh, sure. They try to work out how the hell they can do an autograph, but eventually manage to exactly do that with your tablet.
Oh, perfect. Can I get a quick selfie with you? I'm no good with this thing, but it will really give them a kick if I could just jump in front of the table. You don't even all have to turn around. Look, I'll just get down here and you're all in the shot. It'll be fun.
It's a free planet. Have at it.
That's really kind. Thank you. So what do you guys reckon of your chances this time round?
Well, I think we're going to win.
That's what my friend keeps telling me. Though they say that what's the team?
BCI?
Was it no, was in game? Was it Corton?
Oh, I see.
Corton's got somebody who really knows what they're doing with the route planning and the tides, and what's the name? Frez. Someone Frez.
Oh, Fess. He worked for
Yeah.
Corton last year. Yeah. And
Who's it this year?
VCI's got him this year.
Yes, that's the one. That's what they keep telling me. They reckon big things. They say that they really know what they're talking about.
Well, I mean, you're right. You've always got to fear someone with the kind of skills that can take a wealthy, powerful, well-funded, well-supported team with a brilliant crew and elevate them to 3 places behind us.
I see your point. So you don't. Who's your guy? Who's your navigation?
We do it in-house.
So this best guy is like a contractor. It's like an external.
Yeah. Some of the teams they go looking for locals or experts. They hire in some specialist in weather or winds or temperatures and all sorts of things. We just do the engineering right and trust the drivers.
Yeah, see, and that's what I keep saying to my friend. You gotta. It's all about the team and the drivers, and it's not about the things that people buy in.
If you got the right craft and you got the right team, you're in with a decent shot.
Exactly. And I tell you, I hear some some nasty things about this Fez guy. He's a bit underhanded. He'll nothing major, obviously, but feeds teams wrong information or says things in passing that will give other teams a bit of and that's not something you want associated with a big brand like Maglo, right?
Right, indeed. We're a tight team.
Yeah. Have you heard any of that? Do you get much in this industry?
Roll a persuade for me, please, with your choice of social or intellect.
That will be either. They're both the same. Let's go social.
Mhm.
That is an 8 plus 1 plus 0 is a 9.
Okay. It's mostly a pretty clean sport, actually. Not a lot of cheating, not a lot of messing around. Only it's a bit of controversy this year, of course, because of, I'm sure um, DSS and VCI are using this mystery craft that they bought in from an outside group. But even that, I mean, it's not against the rules.
No, yeah, I heard about that. Has that got you guys worried? You must know somebody that's worked on the craft, right? I'm not saying you know the company, but it's a close-knit group, right? Of engineers and mechanics that work on these things. You must know a guy who knows a guy who's worked on it. Has it got you worried?
Can you roll a persuade for me, please,
Oh,
with intellect and with Bane?
oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
it was quite a question.
It's not bad though. It's a 4, 4, and a 5. So that is a 9 plus 1 is a 10.
Okay. That really isn't bad. The chat leans forward and he says, "You didn't hear it from me. We watch all year round the work that people are doing, their test runs, the craft they're working on,
Mm.
I think it's possible that those two teams are cheating, not because they're using the same craft, but I'm damned if I can spot much difference between the design they're using now and the one DSS was testing in the off season. I think DSS has sold BCI their craft.
Mm.
And you're not supposed to do that because you're not supposed to have, two vehicles in the race, if you know what I mean. If you bought them in from an outside source, it would be a different matter. But if you design a craft and then sell it to a team that's supposed to be your rival, that's dodgy.
Yeah, you're kind of, and Stefan will look around and lowers, but it's kind of like you're entering two teams, right?
Kind of is.
Mm. Anyway, listen, it's beyond it's more in depth than my interest, I'll be honest, in the sport. But thanks, that's interesting.
No problem. And remember, you didn't hear that from me.
Hear what?
Good lad.
Listen, and he'll start speaking to the whole table. Listen, best of luck to all of you, champs. You're gonna win it again for me.
Of course. Cheers. They sort of raise their glasses and smile.
He'll raise his beer and up his head and take a sip. Good luck. And wander off back
Okay,
inside.
you going back
Ideally.
inside, or are you continuing round to sort of the waterfall?
Oh, actually, yeah. He'll wander around. He's looked over. He'll wander around to the waterfall. Have
Right.
a little look around there at some point.
As you sort of make your way around that side, you find that Zoe is more or less on the corner there in front of you. She's studiously not paying you any attention, again, in case you're doing anything subtle, but she's there and staying within eyesight of you. As you make your way around, you're traveling from sort of little terraced area to little terraced area, and eventually you reach the edge where the waterfall itself comes down. There's a little bit of around the corner before you actually see the waterfall from this angle, but you can hear it, of course. And as you go around, what you discover is there's a decent line of little terraces that are actually underneath the inside of the waterfall. It goes over them. So and sufficiently close that when it freezes, they too would easily be able to reach out and chip off a bit of water. This is the only terrace level where that would really be true. As soon as you go a bit further, of course, the waterfall just plummets straight down into the sea. If you went further down, and if you went further up, though there is still a terrace up there, one level up, it's set much further back from the water, so it's not overhanging this one. So you wouldn't be able to, you'd still be able to see the effect, but not reach the effect. So this is obviously some kind of prime position for a lovely air-conditioned evening, especially for the moment when the water freezes. And perhaps unsurprisingly, therefore, this pole position seems to have been taken by the VCI team sitting at 3 tables. And they too are just quietly chatting among themselves.
Can I spot Buddy Fess amongst the tables?
Roll a streetwise for me, please. And you can have boon with this.
Ooh.
And intellect.
Thank you very much. That is a 10 plus 2 is a 12.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, these rolls tonight.
The light here is mostly provided by the fact that there are some discrete lights hidden in the rock face behind the tables, which project directly onto the water. And obviously the water is quite light in color. There's a certain amount of whiteness in it, so it produces a glowing white glow. But it is getting quite dark, and obviously underneath the waterfall itself, there's also a bit of shadow from any residual sunlight. It's not all that easy to see, and it does take you a second or two. But yes, after just a moment, you pick out sort of standing just the rock face side of the tables, the silhouette of a very recognizable Fess.
2 things, Ben. One is the mag blow table, or was it far enough away that I would be pretty certain that he wouldn't have heard us having a general chit chat, or my voice carrying?
Unless he was literally skulking around the table, there's no way he'd have heard you. You've gone a considerable distance further on, yeah.
Okay, cool. And second of all, am I wide out in the open? Would it be a far away assumption to presume that he's seen me?
If he hasn't made any obvious indication of it.
Okay. Stefan will lean over. He'll put his elbows on the side of the railing that's there, and hold his beer, and he'll send a message to Soraya. And I'll start off with, "Hey, sorry, I didn't mean to be out of line earlier. Listen, I got you some autographs of that team you really like, the green team." And he'll send over the file of the autographs on the tablet. Look, I even got a photo with them, and he'll send that over as well. Couple of things though. They also they reckon there's something dodgy with the craft. I can talk about that later. Like the DSS and the VCI craft. But also I've got eyes on and he'll just put ...
Okay. You are leaning on the balcony, so you've still got literally a line of sight to Fess while you're sending this message, and he doesn't seem to be paying much attention. Because you've been out of sight for a few seconds, Zoe comes skulking around the corner as well. Not right next to you, but she peers over and she sees him as well and nods to you. All right. The message will take a few seconds to reach Soraya and for her to have a chance to respond to it. And just as you might think, okay, she's either coming or she's sending a message or she'll call or something like that, you see Fess's silhouette shift slightly as he turns, and he takes half a pace towards you, still, 20, 30 feet away, maybe, a decent distance. And he raises his voice and he calls out, "Mr. Miller." What a pleasant surprise. And then there's a second later, and he glances across and he says, "Major Yatoe. Oh, my night is complete." And that's where we'll call it for this evening.
Oh, Fess.
Oh, Ben.
He's so
Ben Fess.
He's so slimy.
Oh.
Fess is too. Oh, he's so unpleasant. So deeply
At least we
unpleasant.
know what we're going into next time.
What you're going into? I'm doing a runner when I see that message. It's just you and Zoe, mate. Honestly, I'm going to spend an hour and a half just chilling out on the next stream, just enjoying what you're going through.
Combat.
Combat of wits.
Combat of psionics is what it really won't be, but could be. And Stefan wouldn't even know. He's so oblivious to it all. Wouldn't even realise they were fighting it out in their heads.
Well, he certainly doesn't seem to be acting aggressively, put it that way.
Yeah,
he never does, though. He's never acted aggressively.
No, that's true.
He's just really weird and creepy.
He just has that grin.
He's very good at putting us on edge, knowing more than he should.
Yes.
Best.
Thank you, Ben.
But thank you, Ben. Thank you, Luke.
Thank you, Ewan.
Much fun.
Thank you, those of you still hanging out at the end of the sesh.
Yes, thank you very much, everyone who came along to watch, and I hope you had some fun.
Yes, I was having fun, and then I stopped having fun. But no, thank you, Ben. And yes, so that's the end of our Friday evening. But our Baltic Star weekend is only really beginning. We have much more excitement coming over the next few days.
We're halfway there, aren't we?
Living on a prayer.
We are essentially, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got tomorrow night, which is, well, I have to say, is going to be absolutely gripping. It's our very first session of Night Witches tomorrow.
Night Witches. For February, we're playing. Yes, we're playing every Saturday on February. Don't know how far through the campaign we'll get, but we'll fly some flights, do some daytime stuff. Yes, I've got the soundtrack.
Going to be jumping into our Polycarpov PO2s and trying to destroy some tanks and probably trucks and bridges and things.
Yeah, exactly. And all the best. Maybe
it's a different format as well, isn't
it? The first night.
The whole month of Saturdays, which is quite exciting.
Yeah, it's a new experiment for us, actually, with any of our games that aren't the Traveller campaign. We normally do, an episode every month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. But this one, we're taking over a 4-week run for February. It's going to be a very interesting thing to try.
Yeah.
Exactly. Looking forward to it. And we've got Socks and we've got Kelly with us as well. So there's going to be a plethora of people down this side.
Which is always exciting.
Yeah. So 2 channel regular guests. Fantastic. Always nice to when we have someone popping in to join us. And I'm very excited about this one. I think it's going to be fun. I've got a bit into my character now. I'm very excited to be my character.
You're talking. I look forward to seeing them in the flesh, as it were. That is going to be good. So that is going to be tomorrow for me, 11 o'clock, maybe a bit later, because I don't. There's a few things I might need to sort out graphically just when we're all here. But so, if you're thinking about it, plan to get here for like 11:15 or something, and we'll be good to go for a couple of hours. That'd be nice fun. And then Monday night we take Sunday. Sunday I take off, a day of rest. And then Monday night I'll be back for the next episode of The Quarry, our gripping teen horror full of squirrels and wolfmen and bad decisions. I make really good decisions. The stupid game doesn't let me always make good decisions, though. It's very annoying.
It does have. I mean, those kind of games, like a text adventure or any kind of path-based adventure. Sometimes you think, well, what I really want to do is.
Luke, I'm sure Luke and I have spoken before about the you choose one thing and it sounds completely different into your head to how the character actually says it, and it comes across totally different to the meaning that you thought it was going to be, which is very frustrating.
It's like they'll ask,
fun.
hey, should we go out into this forest in the dark, just the two of us? And the choice will be yes or no. So of course you pick no, and then he's like, no, don't want to go with you. I'm going by myself. So there's no one I've been at all.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
decisions. But it's a great game. So,
no, I'm going with my horde of squirrel friends.
Yeah, exactly.
You can stay here.
Yeah. No, I'm actually really enjoying The Quarry. I think it
is good.
It's done a really good job with the sort of pacing and the atmosphere, and I think it's definitely a step up from all of the other ones of this type I've seen.
It's very, very strong. So yeah, so that's the rest of the weekend with us. You can have Sunday off. Tomorrow, Night Witches, and Monday we'll play a horror video game together. But until then, thank you everyone. Thank you so much, and thank you for dropping by. And from all of us, we'll see you all soon. Hopefully tomorrow. Take care. Love you all.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.